Hey, good morning, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today is just a regular day here at home with little Parker. We're going to be starting homeschool here pretty soon. I just got him sat down with his breakfast and he's going to be working on some independent work today while I work on a fun project in the kitchen that I've kind of been meaning to get to for quite a while. And I thought since I'll be in the kitchen working on this, I would share this with you guys. It is a super fun, super easy project that you can do right at home in your own kitchen. So you saw from the title of this video, today we are going to be making an amazing white clover salve, DIY, homemade, limited ingredients. Last spring, Parker and I had so much fun harvesting a ton of white clover from the homestead property. I knew that with the big move coming up, I wasn't going to have a lot of time to process it and do the fun projects that I wanted to do with it. So what I did is I preserved the white clover in sweet almond oil in a big mason jar. So that has really kept that clover preserved for me until I'm ready to use it for making lip balms or salves or whatever else you could find that you would want to use it for. Once we were done harvesting the clover, I brought it inside. I gave all of it a really good washing. After I cleaned and dried the clover, I submerged it completely in a jar of almond oil where it has been locked up for the past year. Making homemade salves is super simple. You only need a few ingredients, and that's why I love it so much. It's something you can whip up quickly in your kitchen, but you can also make a ton of it to have it for yourself, for friends, family, and it makes such a great gift for like Christmas or birthdays, Mother's Day, things like that. So I have made salves for the past 6 or 7 years on the homestead. One of my favorite salves to make is Dandelion Salad. You guys probably know that dandelions have amazing health benefits. The entire plant, including the roots, are edible. They're great for teas, salves, tinctures, and things like that. They have amazing medicinal benefits for you. And the same goes for clover, white clover, red clover. You can really use this recipe with anything you have, your rosemary, lavender, and things that you might have growing in your own garden. And have fun with this recipe. You guys can add essential oils, you can add shea butter, you can add some vitamin E oil drops. This is such a flexible recipe that, don't take my recipe for gospel. You can tweak it and massage it any way you want to fit your needs and your desires. It's just an easy recipe that you can play with. Now, I am not a doctor. You guys know that. So I am not professing to be a doctor. These are just my own personal opinions and beliefs based on the research that I've done over the years when it comes to some of these plants and flowers that have the medicinal benefits and the salves and tinctures that you can make out of them. So white clover specifically has a lot of benefits for your body, and I just find it amazing that God has already given us the things that we need for our health and well-being in the plants and flowers that He has made on the earth, right? So many people are just used to going to the doctor right away when something's wrong, and they don't realize that there's things right in their own backyard that could really benefit them if they just knew how to, harvest that and process that plant for their benefit. The main thing that we use it for here in our family is that it's just a great topical cream to use for small cuts and scrapes, bug bites, bee stings, and for Joe working out on the homestead the way he does, his hands get so dry and cracked, and our lips as well. We put these salves on our lips like a lip balm. So the list goes on and on for the benefits that this can give to your family. And it's just really cool that this is something you can harvest in your own backyard. So the first thing that you're gonna need when you make your homemade salve is you're going to need an infused oil. So basically, like I said, you can use whatever plant you have and that you want to make a salve from, like rosemary, lavender, dandelion. Today we're just going to be using the white clover, but you want to infuse oil with those plants. So we're essentially sucking out all of the vitamins and nutrients and the good benefits that these plants offer, and we're infusing that into an oil so that we can use that oil to make our salve today. Now, when you infuse your oil, there's a few different ways that you can do it. The way that takes the longest, but it's perfectly acceptable, is to put your plant in some type of a mason jar and submerge it completely with a good carrier oil. olive oil, almond oil, just a good oil that you might have right in your own kitchen. What you want to do is you want to stick this jar of your oil and your herb or flour, whatever you want to call it, you want to stick that in your windowsill for 4 to 6 weeks. And with the sun, it's going to kind of warm that, and it's going to help infuse and pull all those nutrients out of that and make an amazing infused oil that you can use for all of your tinctures and fun projects in your kitchen. But if you're like me and you kind of tend to put things off until you're ready to like do the project, a quicker way to infuse your oil with your clover is you can preheat your oven to 200 degrees and then turn it off and put your jar with your clover and your oil right in your oven for about 3 hours. The heat from the oven is going to do the same thing that it would have done for your jar in the windowsill in the sunlight. An even quicker way to infuse your oil, which is what I'm actually doing today, is by heating it on your stove in a double boiler. So with the double boiler, you're just gonna get a pot with another pan or a glass jar, maybe a glass measuring cup, something to that nature, and put it inside of your pot. And then you're going to turn the stove on and heat that up. As you're going, I like to stir it up a little bit, just kind of mix it up. And I do this for about an hour to an hour and a half. And I find that that does a really good job of pulling all those goodies out of the white clover and infusing that oil for me. All right, so I've got my double boiler going on over here. You might be able to hear that a little bit in the background, but I wanted to show you guys what other ingredients I'm going to be using today for this recipe. Now, like I said, this is totally flexible, so don't feel like you have to use the ingredients I'm using. You can really do this however you'd like. I did want to mention before we go into that, if you are infusing your oil, the ratio, the standard ratio that you can kind of use is 1 part whatever your plant is that you're using to 5 parts of your oil. So when you fill up your jar to put it in your windowsill or put it in your oven or the double boiler option, you just want to kind of follow that rule of 1 part plant to 5 parts oil, and then you should be fine. So today, what I'm going to be using are these adorable little tins that I got off of Amazon. I'll link these for you guys. These are a little bit bigger than the ones that I usually use for my salves, and I did that on purpose. I wanted a bigger jar, one that didn't run out so quickly. This one here I used for my Dandelion Salve that I was telling you guys about. This is the salve that I made last time, and little Parker helped me harvest a bunch of beautiful dandelions, and we processed them down the same way that we're doing the clover today, and we made these amazing dandelion salves. And I think I added lemongrass essential oil to this. Smells really good. This is just great for your skin. Joe actually had to go to the dermatologist here recently and get a bunch of sunspots that were precancerous removed from his forehead and his face. He grew up in Arizona. They didn't do the sunscreen thing. He was out in the sun all the time at the river, and now it's kind of catching up with him. And so with the procedure to remove those, he's kind of got a lot of dry spots and skin that's kind of flaking around those areas. And so he's been using dandelion salve on them, and it does really good. And I keep one of these next to my nightstand, and at night I put it all over my cuticles, ladies. I put some of it on my lips. You can put it on your knees and elbows. It's just a great moisturizer. So while this tin is perfectly fine, I just wanted to do a bigger tin for this salve that we're gonna be making today. So these ones hold about 5 ounces. That's what we're gonna be using. I got 6 of these, and I'll link these below for you guys if you would like to check them out. So you're gonna need some kind of tin or glass jars. Little glass mason jars work great. Whatever you have, you just really don't wanna use plastic because you're pouring super hot liquid into these, and they just do better if they've got little metal tins or a glass jar. Next, you're gonna need a kitchen scale to actually weigh out your ingredients when we go to make our salve here in a little bit. The next thing you're gonna need is beeswax. Now you can use beeswax from your own beehives, which I actually have some beeswax from our last honey harvest. And if you guys haven't checked out that video, I'll link it for you here. But I show you how we take the wax from our frames, from our beehives when we harvest the honey, and we process it down. I put it in little soap molds to give me these beautiful gold blocks that I can use for making candles, lip balms, salves like we're gonna do today. So we don't throw away our beeswax, we process it and we keep all of it. So today, I already pre-weighed this out. This is about 4 ounces of beeswax, and I think that's about the amount that we're gonna be using in our recipe today. If you don't have beeswax from your own bees, you know, you can get these on Amazon. I'll link this for you. This is what they look like. They're just little pellets. So these work really nice too because they render down super quick because they're tiny little pellets. The other thing I have is a tea towel. Once this is done processing over here in the double boiler, we're gonna need to strain out all of the flowers because we don't want that in our salve. We want the salve to be this beautiful, creamy, smooth texture. So we're gonna strain all that out so all we're left with is the infused oil. I dunk my tea towels in a bowl of boiling hot water for a few minutes because I wash these in the washing machine and I don't want laundry soap or whatever I've used in there in my salve. So here in a few minutes, I'm gonna boil some water and just let this soak in there while we're working on the rest of it. Essential oils. You guys can use essential oils to add to your salves. You don't have to. You can absolutely just do the beeswax and your beautiful infused oil if that's what you want to do. If you want to spice it up a little bit, make it smell a little bit better, and also add more benefits to your salve, then you can get some essential oils and add those in there as well. You guys know that the essential oils have a lot of health benefits too. So today I have decided to go with the combination of rosemary, lemon, and lavender. So it's gonna be a white clover salve with lavender, lemon, and rosemary essential oil. If you guys don't know where to get your essential oils from, I have a link below in the video description. I buy all of mine from doTERRA. It's an amazing company, ethically sourced. They are certified pure therapeutic grade. You can rely on the fact that these are pure essential oils from the plant. They don't have a bunch of fillers and crap in there that's not really good for you. If you're gonna use essential oils, you wanna make sure that you're actually getting the oils from the plants and not a bunch of fillers. It's gonna be a waste of your money and it's not really gonna do for you what you're wanting it to. So when we're making this salve, the ratio that you wanna use beeswax to your infused oil is 1:8 ratio. Typically, that's just kind of like a baseline for you to go off of if you've never done a salve before. 1 ounce of beeswax to 8 ounces of your infused oil is a good starting point. Now keep in mind, if you want your salve to be a little bit harder, more like a harder lip balm consistency, you can add a little bit more beeswax in there and it's gonna make it more solid. If you want it to be more creamy, kind of like a lotion, then don't add as much beeswax, right? So more beeswax makes it harder, less beeswax obviously makes it more of a creamy consistency. But that 1:8 ratio is just a good starting point for you. All right, you guys, that's all there is to it for making your homemade salve. I hope you enjoyed this video. Super fun, right? Like nothing to it. This salve is gonna last for up to a year. I've actually kept some of mine a little bit longer than that and they still work just fine, same consistency, but the rule of thumb is about a year. Some of these are still drying and setting, so we're gonna let these set and cool before we mess with them too much. They smell amazing. I am super happy that I did the rosemary, lavender, and lemon. It just gives it this fresh scent. And the rosemary, I just love rosemary, you guys. And you can just put the lid on these and store them like in a cool, dark place. I mean, obviously, if you set them in a windowsill, they would melt if they were in like direct sunlight, right? Because they're made with beeswax, so it would melt right back down. So I just encourage you to keep it maybe in a drawer in your bathroom or something like that. If you keep it in your car console, it's definitely gonna melt if you live in a hot area. And I actually had quite a bit of leftover infused oil, so I'm just gonna put this in a cool, dark place as well. This is already infused with the white clover, so it's ready to go for any projects that I want to do in the future, like this salve that we did today, or lip balms and other things like that. So if you want to go ahead and prepare your infused oil ahead of time so that you've got this sitting in a cupboard ready for whatever projects you might want to do, it'll save you a lot of time later on down the road. Thanks for hanging out with me today in the kitchen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful, informative, and remember, this is a recipe that you can do with pretty much any herb that you want to and flowers. Be creative. It's a flexible recipe. Add the essential oils that you want and the smells that you like, and just have fun with it. All right, everybody, until next time, take care and stay blessed, and we'll see you on the next video.